Welcome back to Rebuilding the Rams, guys. We have a bounce back game, and I mean a bounce back game, okay? If you didn't see the previous video, we dropped to unranked 6-3, 60 overall Wyoming. Yes, it is the battle for the bronze boot, so it is a rivalry, but man, this is worse than Ohio State dropping that unexpected game to Michigan last year as like a 20-something point favorite. I bet we were 20-something point favorites against Wyoming. So we are now no longer ranked. We dropped from 15th all the way out of the ranking, and we luckily get a home game against an FCS Midwest school that is 50 overall. So if we can't beat 60, maybe we could beat 50, which just absolutely sucks to say. But the truth of the matter is, 3 games left. We got FCS here. We have Mississippi State next. Now, the Mississippi State game is big because they're going to be a good overall, even though their record is very bad. And then finally, we have on the road against a top 10 Oregon team, guys. That might be the game that gives us a shot, maybe, of actually being able to sneak back into playoff conversation. Because if we could beat Oregon, if we could beat Mississippi State, I think we sit about 30th in the media poll right now. I'm hoping a Mississippi State win and this win could get us back to the top 25. If we beat Oregon, all of a sudden maybe we're top 15. All of a sudden, then we have a conference championship game. Because while we are 6-3, we are 6-1 in conference. So if we can beat Oregon, we will 100% have a conference championship game appearance. If we lose, then we let the tiebreakers decide, and I don't think the tiebreakers will be in our favor with a loss to USC and Oregon. They're both up there. So long story short, today is a must-win game. All of them are must-win games because the goal still is to be a college football playoff team. Now, you're not going to see a lot of Justin Marshall today, I hope. I hope we can drive down the field now, play good, clean football, and already I'm screwing up. A bad throw, and then I meant to throw the screen, and I didn't. DJ Dilworth, what a great name for their quarterback. But here it is, huge third down, and you know what I want? We use this late in the fourth quarter. We have rarely put Alton Roth and Justin Marshall on the field at the same time. Let's do it now on a massive 3rd and 12. Let's actually run the ball here. And look at the space for Tyler Chambers. That is what I'm talking about. He will go down. No need to risk an injury against this squad. Like, no offense to the FCS Midwest, what is this? Rock stars, the FCS Midwest rock and roll fans. But you know, we're not going to risk a second quarterback injury. All right, maybe we will risk a second quarterback injury. But all right, guys, I want to get ahead of this too. If we get a blowout here, which is the goal, we will show the full video in the video description. We are only going to play this until it is, you know, the game is firmly in our hands. I would hope that we can blow out a 50 overall FCS school, you know, this deep into year 3, but we will see. Alton Roth first down there. Instead, let's use this time to prep, all right? Trips tight end. This is one of our running back motion looks here. So let's practice running what we would actually run against a really good school, and that is using Alton Roth. I don't know if you saw it, but it's a linebacker on him. He's got a one-on-one matchup out there. If the safety doesn't help, oh, safety's helping. That's okay. We will throw it over to Levon Brown, and he will take it in himself. You know you're playing an FCS school when you could throw a 5-yard in and let your receiver, your number 3 receiver, I might add, run untouched into the end zone. Holy smokes, man. 7-0 game here. And, you know, I've been doing some reflecting. It's early November. You know, this game is out. It's been out. We are deep into football season. I'm realizing that most of my fantasy football teams are not nearly as good as I thought they were going to be. And I'm just kind of thinking about the state of this game, right? Like, I'm curious what y'all think the vibes are for college football as a franchise, right? Like, we know that college football 25, smash hit, also fantastic game, right? I mean, for being the first game back in the installment for after like missing things for a decade, I would argue. Also, good job by Andrew Lorch running down a quarterback. That is one of our defensive tackles showing some range there. But anyways, you know, I would argue that they did about as good as you can do for a first game. Like, obviously there was some stuff that needed to get shipped in an update pretty early on. But it felt like they were moving pretty quick. Felt like morale was high. I know sales-wise, the game went absolutely insane. to my knowledge, I don't think this game has done the same. I don't know the exact sales numbers. I don't think they publish those. But if you just kind of Google and use the resources at hand, I think PlayStation networks like publish how many people are quote unquote owners of a game, something like that. And I'm pretty sure ownership or usership has dropped off to where like 60% of the audience base has disappeared from last year. Also, look at that open receiver, Mason Ferguson. Let's go. Oh man, Tyler Chambers wheeling and dealing early, going against these, no offense, absolutely pathetically bad corners. These corners probably wouldn't start on their high school team. These corners need to give up on sports forever. These corners would probably be bad at like pickup basketball. Look at him falling over the pylon, just absolutely embarrassing himself. Speaking of basketball, I don't know if y'all saw Jaleel Barmore there with a little step back, but 14-0 early, and FCS Midwest is not going to derail my train of thought. But like it's like the viewership of this game, the user base of this game got Thanos snapped overnight. And maybe that is natural. Maybe that's to be expected. You know, the first game back after a decade is obviously going to be a lot more hyped up than any annual installment after that. But I'm wondering, you know, what is the vibe from your personal point of view hanging out here? Because obviously I know we've talked a lot in previous comment sections about, you know, where people are watching this and, you know, how people are playing this game, et cetera, et cetera. But like, what's morale like for you and or your friends? You know, I was talking to my little brother about this. It's unfortunate. I wish this wasn't true. But my little brother said, you know, most of the friends that he played College Football 25 with did not get College Football 26. And, you know, he did, and he played it for a little bit. What a horrible user by me there, too. I'm in the position to get the pick, and it's like I'm not even there. But, yeah, I mean, that's unfortunate for him to say, yeah, man, not only do I not play the game very often, but then my friends that I used to play with didn't get the game. I'm not sure. Obviously, there's also talks with the news of EA. I think, EA got bought out by a private equity firm. It'll be interesting to see how that works. You know, private equity has its own kind of reputation, some positive, some negative. I think lately the vibe towards private equity has kind of shifted more towards the negative side. I'm hoping that, you know, as a fan of this game, as a fan of playing fun sports games, I'm hoping that this game continues to get better and more fun and more people play it and everything. I'm not rooting against EA. I am very much rooting for EA pretty much as hard as anyone can. I mean, heck, I directly benefit from it, right? Like, I'm able to sit here and play this game and have people like y'all watch and hang out. Like, this is also great stop on 4th and inches, guys. Alexander Claybrooks made the tackle on the 4 verts tight end route and then blew that up for the sack. That was his stop there. But yeah, I want this game to succeed. I am just a little nervous now with what future iterations of this game are going to look like. I think Mills, who is a pretty popular streamer for sports games, you know, he put a quote tweet out. I'm gonna write this down and make sure to put it in the video. You know, he put a quote tweet out along the lines of, there was a title update that came out a couple months ago, and I think he basically compared the title update from the same month of 2025 versus the title update for College Football 26 in the same month. Also, beautiful screen, Alton Roth. Anytime I'm talking about something random, Alton Roth scores a touchdown on a screen pass. I don't know if y'all have noticed that. He does that every time. But Mills put out this quote tweet, and it's a fair point, you know, comparing the amount of patch notes related to Dynasty for 26 that deep into the release cycle versus 25 that deep into the release cycle, and the unfortunate lack of patches or updates or those types of things. And I don't know how EA thinks about this stuff strategically, right? Like, we aren't in the rooms. I'm not in the rooms. Would love to hang out in the rooms. Would love to, you know, send a postcard to the room. And if I could send a postcard on y'all's behalf to the room, would love to. But to me, just as an outsider, it seems like, you know, Madden has a intense competitive community, and they also have a microtransaction fueled community, I would argue, right? Like, Ultimate Team is the most popular thing on Madden. I don't think that's close to my knowledge. It also is where the competitive scene lives, and where all the microtransactions live. So you're getting the most monetization per player, you are getting the most players there, and you're also getting the most competitive players there. So, you know, everything lives on Ultimate Team for Madden, and that's fair. Great pick by Jason Gadosh. Let's go, guys. I said we were gonna play till it's a blowout. These guys are making it happen quick. But, you know, Madden, it makes sense why there is such a focus on Ultimate Team. I completely understand that. That being said, you know, there's obviously a Venn diagram of Madden players versus college football players, because there are people like me that do both. Some of you guys might be pure CFB, and some people are probably pure Madden. They probably think that this game sucks. But my guess is that the community, both, you know, if we were to make the Venn diagram, the pure Madden players are not relevant, right? The pure CFB players, if I had to guess, are not playing college football Ultimate, right? Because if you wanted the best possible Ultimate Team experience, no disrespect to college football franchise, but like Madden is where the Ultimate Team experience is. I mean, that's where all the investment is as far as the Madden, you know, installment. It doesn't go to franchise mode, right? So we know that the pure play college football players, or we don't know, but we're assuming the pure play college football guys do not care about Ultimate Team. They probably care about Dynasty. Well, what about the overlap, the people that do both? Well, I would still argue for those people, if you play both, you're probably more likely to play the Ultimate Team on Madden and then come here and do something that is not Ultimate Team. By the way, we are so going for this. RPO read screen, give ourselves some options. They're bringing down a man blitz. Who has the matchup? Let's just throw to a good matchup. Green all over the field. Let's get Alton Roth on a Texas route, Levon Brown on a deep out, and Elijah Walton on an out route. We're going to go to Walton first. Yep, that's beautiful. Oh, that's not beautiful. They disguised it. It was Tampa 2. The safety stayed down. They fooled me. FCS Midwest, you dirty rock stars. Oh my goodness, I hope you all don't fall victim to the fame and fortune and the long tour dates and, you know, eating peanut butter jelly sandwiches on the tour bus, man. Like, I hope you don't have a peanut allergy. That would be very unsafe. But as I was trying to say before, you know, this FCS team absolutely fooled me, was I would argue that if you're playing both games, you are not coming on here and saying, oh, I can't wait to play college football Ultimate Team. And again, I don't want to be too biased from my own experience, but that's exactly what I'm doing, right? When I decided to go and also play Madden on the Max Plays Games channel, I explicitly had to make the decision, am I going to do franchise or am I going to do Ultimate Team? And my choice was, or my thought process was, hey, I already do Dynasty mode on here. I want to give people something different. And, oh, by the way, I want to play the best part of Madden as far as like where the Madden people are putting in the effort, and they're putting in the effort in Ultimate Team. So I was like, I will play that. So long story short, what I'm trying to say, and this is probably something that you have been thinking the whole time while I've been ranting and meandering to the point is that the Dynasty community on this game is like the community. Whether it's you know, guys like you and me playing it, whether it's people like you that are watching it, right? I know some of y'all said I'm the only creator you watch. I know some of y'all say call me Jaden, Bordeaux, Bengal, all these other guys that you watch. All these people are playing Dynasty. You know, there's not many people that are playing College Football 26 Ultimate Team, and that is the sole thing that they play. And that's where the viewers are. Like, that's just not happening. So I don't know. I haven't like actually fully looked that in detail at the patch notes to see as a proxy like where the quote unquote attention is. But I would hope that strategically that the people in the room deciding what the future of this game looks like, I hope that everybody's on the same page. Hey, this game is for the Dynasty people. And let me just say, oh my goodness, Mason Ferguson, let you go ahead and distract everybody. Walk-in touchdown off a curl route. That is beautiful. You know, last year I tried to spin up a bunch of dynasties with my friends. I don't know what y'all's experience has been, but I couldn't make it happen. People didn't commit or whatever. This year, for the first time, I actually have 2 online dynasties. One is a smaller one with me and 3 other guys. One is a 10-friend dynasty, and it's the most fun I've had on this game. Like, this is incredibly fun, and I have a blast, and there's a reason why we're making 100 episodes of this and doing like 80 hours of content, you know, all about the Rams. Like, I am having so much fun here. But there is a different kind of fun when you're also recruiting guys to use against your own friends. I mean, I got this guy, DJ Pickett, man. I actually have him in both leagues on accident. I didn't realize it. In one of them, he's a 99 speed free safety that just absolutely terrorizes my friends because I will load him up in the box. Great safety, by the way. Owen Long continuing to dominate as the hybrid outside linebacker defensive end. But, you know, he dominates DJ Pickett in one dynasty as a super rangy, like Ed Reed if he was as fast as Tyreek Hill type of player. And then in the other league, he is a 96 speed tight end. And the tight end, you could play at receiver or at tight end. So half the time, he's just lined up as a regular wideout, just absolutely toasting people. And then when I really want to use him well, I'll sub out my blocking tight end, Luke Whiting, and I will put in DJ Pickett. And dude, you would imagine having a fullback with 96 speed. Imagine that. You throw that guy on a wheel route, I mean, and you get to score off your friend. It is an insanely fun feeling. So I don't want to jinx it, but I hope that both of these leagues, you know, for every future iteration of college football as a series, I would hope that all, you know, of my friends that got the game this year would all get it again next year, and we would all run it back in a new dynasty. You know, I don't want to jinx it, but like that's the hope, is that this becomes a thing that lasts a long time. Because I mean, I'm having a blast. We're all having a blast. In fact, somebody emailed me recently talking about a predictive model that they made to predict like over-unders and spreads and that kind of stuff in their dynasty. I was inspired and repurpose an old one that I used to have for NCAA 14, and now I have it for this dynasty. So before each week, I'm able to put out the lines of like the 5 games that we're all playing this week and like have, you know, a pretty fun discussion in this big group chat with all of us. So like that is a level of stickiness to this game that, you know, is a huge advantage. I think that of the 10 people, how many of them would have bought College Football 27? I don't know, but I think more of them are more likely to buy it now because we had this fun dynasty for this year that we're still doing. Also, bad spin move by Jaleel Barmore, but great first down pickup. So I don't know. I mean, we also, again, I'm just trying to like theorize where the drop in sales came from and how this can continue to grow to become such a huge game. Like, I don't know what headcount looks like between the college football franchise and the Madden franchise at EA, right? Like, do people go back and forth? Is it, I think it's an entirely separate division. Obviously, there has to be some tiny amount of overlap. There are some things in this game that is the same or eerily similar to Madden, but I mean, it's a different game. It plays different. So I don't know. I mean, long story short, I hope that this game continues to be as popular as possible. Will it ever reach College Football 25 levels of popularity? I mean, I think that's probably impossible, just because that was, you know, the first release in so long. You know, it was a point in time that was a really special point in time. It's really hard to recreate that without some other massive event. And also, speaking of massive events, Tyler Chambers, wide open scramble. This guy has maybe pitched a perfect game. I'll actually probably caveat that and say he's probably not going to pitch a perfect game. He'll probably have a perfect half. There's probably no shot he plays the second half. But to close the point on the college football thing, you know, I want it to be as popular as possible. I hope it could someday, you know, get back to the sales numbers that it had for College Football 25. I still think that their best bet to do that is to go all in on Dynasty. I mean, just go all in. I have not played it's Retro Bowl, right? Is it Retro Bowl? That's the one that's like highly customizable, great for simming, like that kind of stuff. It seems like it's pretty fun. I think you could actually play the game too, right? It's a phone game if I'm not mistaken. But like, there's no Retro Bowl Ultimate Team. There's no Retro Bowl microtransactions, right? Like that's not a thing. And I think that, you know, if you're going to do the Ultimate Team thing, that's fine. Do it July to like late August and do some big finale thing and then shut it off. Literally shut it off and say, hey, if you want to do Ultimate Team, go buy our Madden game. You'll get more sales that way anyways. Like, you know, I think that there are sometimes short-term optimizations that lead to long-term, you know, less than optimal results, right? Like, one thing I've been doing recently, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but on these videos, I'm no longer doing these super, I don't know, quote-unquote clickbaity, but like super attractive titles or super different thumbnails. Every single game, I say, hey, this is Rebuilding the Rams episode 30 whatever. And In the short term, is that going to get the most views on that video? No shot, no chance, right? If you haven't seen the first 37 episodes, why in the world would you click on episode 38? Like, Rebuilding the Rams episode 38 is a garbage title. Nobody should watch that unless you watch the first 37. But the thing is, if you watch the first 37, seeing the title Rebuilding the Rams episode 38 is a banger title because it's like you watched 37 already. So to me, that is an example of a short-term optimization strategy of, hey, let's make the best title thumbnail possible to get somebody to click on this video, actually might harm the long-term strategy, which is we want people to watch this forever. Dylan Phelps, great pick there. Guys, we are gonna jump to recruiting at halftime, so let's have a beautiful 2-minute drill together while I try to finish my thought and multitask. But what I'm trying to say is, I think the concept of college football ultimate team is a short-term optimization. I think you may be able to say, yes, people will spend more minutes on the game, or yes, we will get more average revenue per player if we do the ultimate team. Also, what a bad throw by Chambers, man. That was going to be open. I didn't need to force it that far vertically or back where Alton Roth was running from. I needed to lead him. That's on me. Hand up. That's a pretty dumb throw. So much for trying to finish strong here. But yeah, I think the concept of college football ultimate team is a short-term optimization that really detracts resources from building out the Dynasty experience, from adding new features, from making recruiting more dynamic. So, you know what? I found out this recently. We have no way of seeing box scores of last year's games. That is crazy to me. I mean, it's probably a lot harder in practice than in my head thinking about it. But, like, how is that a thing? I don't know if 2K has it. Somebody fact check me if 2K doesn't have it, then I will be less, strongly worded about this. But, like, how are we not able to see last year's box scores in any games ever? Why is it that my awesome two-way player DJ Pickett in my league where he plays safety, he's a really good tight end in the other league. I know he's a two-way player. I am not incentivized to play him both ways because defensive players aren't recording stats on offense. I would have loved to send my friends a screenshot in the league where he's a defender and send them a screenshot and say, look, this guy had 12 picks and he had 1,000 receiving yards. Like, that would have been so sick. So, I don't know. Would those things exist if college football ultimate team didn't? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. But, like, I think, and this is just my opinion, but I think for EA to make this game as successful as possible, they need to narrow the strategy even further and say, look, the viewership on YouTube is for creators playing Dynasty. Bordeaux and Bengal, they get 200,000 views an episode. Rebuilding teams and offline Dynasty, these guys are hanging out in the menu screens for 80% of the video. Make the menu screens better, make them more dynamic, show more things. How are we not able to see defensive yards per play? Right? Like, that's a very important stat, especially in a game where a lot of us don't play 15-minute quarters. My defense is really, really, like, okay sometimes, but it looks fantastic because they played 28 snaps. I want to emphasize, I'm saying all of this from a point of positivity because this game rocks and College Football 25 rocks, and I do not think that EA and the folks at EA are doing anything ill-intentioned. I think that every individual is probably doing the absolute best that they individually can. My only argument is that collectively, I think the best strategy to make this game as good as possible is to narrow the focus on the Dynasty experience and just make it incredible. I mean, there's not a whole lot of attention on like the online experience, right? Like, it's a pretty simple thing. I think that's fine. Leave it. It's cool. Make Dynasty so fantastic that the quote-unquote online games will happen when your friend plays your other friend in a league that is so fun and dynamic and enjoyable that everybody wants to do it. That's my take, guys. I know I said we were going to stop at halftime. Wanted to let Justin Marshall break one out really quick first. I'm going to put in the bench. Let's go recruit. If you want to see the second half, go to the video description after this video is done. Hang around for 2 more minutes. Let's go recruit. If you want to go see the rest, it will be in the video description. All right, recruiting time, guys. 58-7 was our final. I will show you after recruiting how much we moved up in the media poll. That's going to be huge, but for starters, let's lock in. Only allowed to get 6 elite players. UCLA, I think, had their visit last week. We had their visit just now for Sydney Gallimore. That means I'm hoping, even though they have the tier 5 pipeline. I am hoping the visit will be enough for us to get him to commit this week. If not, we're going to be in a recruiting battle, and I think we're going to lose. Alfonso Wood, we are all in, dude. It's a race to the end. I do not like how much Florida's jumping, especially because they have a visit going in 2 weeks. But we're going to have to ride that out. Hopefully, this is week 11 right now. Hopefully, week 12. At the end of week 12, as we get into week 13, this guy will commit, and it won't even matter that Florida is visiting. If he goes into week 13 with a Florida visit, he's going to go to Florida, especially because the visit influence occurs before the rest of the stuff. So he will jump us. Now, Brian Shaver, the future quarterback of this program, I think we can flip over to a hard sell. Coach Prestige, championship contender. B+, and C, I think. Oh, it could be two things. Let's soft sell both of them. It's an information gain thing. I think I've started to do this a lot more since making the original video that I made on how to recruit, but I don't know about y'all, but really it feels like the key is to get to the hard sell as quickly as possible. If you could do 2 soft sells and use that to learn ASAP what their true pitch is, then do that, and it's worth 1 week of doing a suboptimal hard soft sell alongside an optimal soft sell, if that means you could hard sell next week. Otherwise, we might be waiting. So I do like a little 3-star gem, raw strength offensive lineman. I know y'all have told me that raw strength guys are harder to upgrade, but I think dev traits are so critical that if you get a gem, I think you got to go for him. Roland Kite, he's a bust. That would have been awesome to add another person to the Kite family of players. We're just going to be scouting with the remaining hours, saving a lot of our 6 allocation of elite players for the transfer portal. And look at that, another raw strength monster. Let's give him 30. Let's advance. We want to see 2 things. We want to see if we will get the first 5-star recruit of our class, Sydney Gallimore. And then also, do we jump back into the top 25? Right now, we sit at 31. Now, I put it into our predictor, and I will say, with the opponent pregame rank being set to 150 because it's an FCS school, it doesn't think I'm going to jump up much. It thinks I'm only going to jump up to like 30th or 29th. So really, this game isn't going to do a whole lot. Hopefully, Mississippi State will be a bigger one. It looks like we did not get the commit by Gallimore, but we jumped up to 23rd. Oh my goodness gracious, guys. Look at that. Also, Curry and Chambers, high risk of transfer due to playing time. That's honestly very fair, guys. Again, Michael Hawkins Jr. is going to come back as a senior. Mississippi State next week, though, they're 4-6, but they're 77. Oh, they're only 77. I just assumed SEC, they were going to be powerhouses. They sit at 98th in the championship contender grade. So it's not going to be a super impressive win. But if you look at the top 25, man, there are some instances where we might be able to make some jumps. I mean, remaining on the schedule after Mississippi State is Oregon, the number 7 school in the nation. And if we win that, then I think we will get to play Colorado. We would have the tiebreaker over Oregon. UCLA would be 2 losses. USC would be 2 losses. As long as we win against Oregon on the road, then we get Colorado, man. That's going to be awesome. Hopefully I see you against Mississippi State. Until then, peace out.